So I'm the assistant conductor of the New York Philharmonic, and basically what the assistant conductor is he's the conductor's understudy, more or less. So it's my job to be there for all the rehearsals and the performances, and sort of observe what the conductor does in rehearsal and learn all the music. So if in the event anything actually happens to the conductor, it's my job to go on last minute and fill in for him. You know, the show must go on kind of thing. And it almost never happens. Conductors don't like giving up their podium. They have to be really unable to walk out on stage physically for them not to go out there. And even then, you know, they can sit down and they'll find a way to get out there and do the performance if they can. You may have an experience like this you want to share. But so a couple weeks ago, I was covering at the New York Philharmonic for Maestro Semyon Bychkov, you know, wonderful maestro. He's conducted all over the place. And during the break of the dress rehearsal, I actually had to go drop something off at the office around the corner of the stage. And so I did that, and I go back to walk into the stage, and I actually saw two stagehands carrying him physically off the stage into the elevator. And I thought, well, that's, first I hope he's okay, but that certainly seems like an interesting turn of events for me. So I go up to the dressing room, and he's very ill and certainly can't go on for the rest of the rehearsal. So I had about 10 minutes time to prepare myself, and then I had to go out and do an hour rehearsal with the New York Philharmonic. I would like to say I was prepared, but you know, you prepare differently when you know you're going out there and when there's a 1% chance that you may be going out on stage. And it turned out that he, you know, was quite ill, and they knew pretty soon after the rehearsal that he wouldn't be able to go on for the performance that night. So I had about 3 hours between the end of rehearsal and the concert to mentally and musically and physically prepare myself to go out and conduct the New York Philharmonic in a concert, having only rehearsed them for an hour. And that's what I did.
And you got great reviews.
And it went as well as I think I could have hoped for. It's you know, it's one of those things where it's just the conductor's dream, right? You sit there day after day after day, hoping that you're going to get your big break and you get your shot to go up there and do it yourself. But then it actually happens, and then you actually realize you have to go up there and do it yourself. And you know, the second half of the program was the Tchaikovsky Symphony, the Sixth Symphony, and they'd already rehearsed it by the time I had gone to do the rehearsal, so I hadn't had any chance to conduct it at all with them. And so I was doing it for the first time in performance, no safety net. Nothing. So it's, you know, it's a wonderful piece of music, and it was an incredible experience to go out there and be able to perform it with them. But at the same time, I'm basically going through it wondering, you know, gee, I hope everything I'm going to do is working, because I haven't been able to try any of it before. So it was terrifying and exhilarating and fun all at the same time. And you know, they didn't. Nothing collapsed. We didn't have to stop. We got to the end, no problem. Everybody clapped. It was great. And then it actually turned out that I had to do it the next night again. And then the maestro was feeling well enough to do half of the performance on Saturday, so we split it. I did the first half, he did the second, and that was it. So it was quite a whirlwind couple of days. You know, you wake up in the morning thinking it's a regular day. You're going to go sit in the audience, get to hear the New York Philharmonic play a little bit, and go home, and all of a sudden you're on stage. You're doing it yourself. So that's the assistant conductor's life.
Well, actually, yes, that's happened several times. But the most recent, I got a phone call, and I was living in Austin, Texas at the time. And you know, this voice was just saying, how would you feel about playing the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto tomorrow at Carnegie Hall? And I was like, oh my God, this for real? And the thing is, there was no conductor of that orchestra because they're conductorless. They're the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, so you lead as well as perform with them. And nothing against conductors, but it was really, I've worked with them many times, and it's such a collaborative process that they have, a real kind of like a glorified chamber music group. So it went off super splendidly, And you know, it was just so surreal to actually be at Carnegie Hall like 24 hours later performing this concerto. But I had to tell you a story that just recently happened to me at the start of the year. I was playing a recital, and you know, I'm always using a shoulder rest. And suddenly at the top of the show, I was playing Beethoven Sonata No. 1 in G major, and I saw this thing swing out from underneath the violin, and I'm like, what is that? And it was my shoulder rest. It had split completely apart, and so I turned to the audience and I was like, are there any violinists in the house? And there was a very friendly violinist who came to the stage and loaned me his very large shoulder rest that popped off during another piece. And you know, I was, at that time, in the second half, I was supposed to play the Ravel Zigan, which is like the world's most difficult piece for violinists. You know, because you start with this gargantuan cadenza. And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be interesting. Like, this thing doesn't even stay on the violin. You know, but I have to use a shoulder rest because I have a long neck. So I went through about 4 or 5 other shoulder rests during intermission, just like frantically trying to find something. And I found one that ended up feeling like a slithering snake was coming down my shoulder. And really great sensation, let me tell you. But I got through the Zigan, and during the Zigan, though, my E string completely unraveled. Yeah, and at that moment, I really turned to the heavens, and I was like, you know what? If I'm struck by lightning right now, I think I'll like it. So it was really one heck of a night.
And you live to tell.
Yes.
So Joshua, or JD, you go by JD, correct?
I'll answer to anything.
Maestro. Your instrument is violin as well, correct?
Technically, that's true, correct, yes.
When did you pick it up and when did you drop it for the baton?
That's actually an interesting question. I've always wanted to be a conductor, so I actually, in a weird way, was